Previously, I ranked the top 30 strongest pirates of all time in One Piece, and so today we're doing the top 15 strongest marines of all time. Right off the bat, I want to name one honorable mention, Z or Zephyr, the man who trained the many current admirals. When it comes to One Piece movie villains, it's hard for me to rank as I question how much of what I see is canon. Zephyr was incredibly powerful in this movie. I'll leave Z up to the comments so you guys can let me know where he slots in and where he should be on his list. And now it's time to jump into the actual list. At number 15, we have Prince Gru's, Kobe's sword rival. He's got an interesting devil fruit of the clay fruit, being able to create clay clones, and he's trained under Garp, which is also important. There's not too much to go off really, but I'd say that he's right there alongside Kobe, although he's powerful in different ways, because these two are both the future of the organization. And we don't know for sure, but it seems very likely that Gru's fruit is a Logia, which would also boost his reputation as a Marine with Logias, because that's a trend for powerful characters in the Marines. And it also seems like Gru's and Kobe both have a very solid chance of becoming admirals one day. While Kobe is known for physical power and very strong hockey, Gru's has shown what I'm assuming is better observation in comparison to Kobe, who fell for Shiryu's dirty tricks, which stabbed Garp. And that's impressive because Kobe showcased some incredible observation hockey all the way back in Marineford. At number 14, we have Kobe. Kobe has skyrocketed in strength recently. As far as his peak strength and offensive output goes, Kobe does appear to be devastating when it comes to full-on power. And that's really when it counts the most. Physically, he's gone through Garp's training and he's developed the mindset of a winner and a warrior, a true Mamba mentality. I still do think that people rank Kobe a little bit too high sometimes, simply off bias and love for the character and the story that Oda's telling through him, but I really do respect him going into the Blackbeard Pirates territory alone and still pulling his weight. But even his most powerful attack, while impressive, wasn't enough to defeat one of Blackbeard's commanders in Pizarro even after major help from Garp. So I do think these two kids have a long ways to go still, but they do have the potential to be some of the top strongest Marines of all time one day, especially when you consider that Kobe's dream is to become an admiral. When it comes to Kobe and Gru's, I see them as 1A and 1B, but I give the edge to Kobe because his raw attack power is leagues ahead of anything that we've seen from Gru so far. At number 13, we have Smoker. Smoker is a Logia devil fruit user of the smoked fruits, and he's even been shown using dangerous weapons like Sea Stone Prism staffs to take out devil fruit users. Most Logia devil fruit users would never put their pride aside to wield such a weapon, and I guess you could say this maybe hinders Smoker's abilities because why would he need that in the first place? But for me, I just see that he's willing to use any kind of weapon to get the job done. But Smoker is a really tough character to rank though, because on one hand he shows up and looks impressive clashing with Boa Hancock and Marineford, and he looks great against Ace and Alabasta, but then in Punk Hazard he gets absolutely embarrassed by Law and needed help to defeat Virgo. I like to make myself believe that Smoker has gotten stronger since that arc, but only time will tell. At number 12, we have X-Drake. X-Drake is an ancient zone devil fruit user who can transform into a powerful dinosaur. He's gone toe-to-toe with CP0 members, and his strength has been recognized as a member of the worst generation, Supernova. He's shown proficient use in hockey, and due to his devil fruit abilities, he gets a big boost in physical toughness. Drake is a logical fighter and has shown that he's able to fight against many world government agents and pirates during the Onigashima raid. Still, Drake hasn't shown anything too crazy or really too impressive, as he didn't get that big moment in Wano that other characters like Killer did. One of these big moments would have really moved him higher in the rankings, but for now we still need to see more. At number 11, we have maybe the most controversial pick on this list, and that is Humphrey Bogart. For years, I believed that Bogart was incredibly powerful, being Garp's right-hand man who trained Kobe and Helmeppo into incredible shape in the anime. But the only problem was that Bogart's done nothing in this entire story aside from a few cover pages and having more scenes in the One Piece live action than the entire Hachinosu mini arc. And that's why it's so hard for me to rank him, because he's been completely useless up to this point. He was MIA in both Marineford and Hachinosu. But then on the other hand, he's at God Valley fighting against Rocks and Roger Pirates. I mean, it just pisses me off so much that Bogart didn't lift a single figure when his captain Garp got captured. He let his homie fight alone against an admiral and multiple Blackbeard pirates and just sat there and watched while Kobe and old man Garp were fighting for their lives against a fleet admiral. So why, Bogart? Why didn't you lift a finger? And if you didn't know, yes, Bogart was actually there at Hachinosu. He doesn't have any significant moments, but you could see him in the corner of a panel that was drawn by Oda but cut off for the official viz, due to him being so far into the corner that the manga page cut him off. But you can definitely see this little Easter egg in the original Raws. I know Bogart should probably be higher on this list, but until I see anything really from this guy, I'll keep my expectations low to stop me from being heartbroken again. So I was thinking about placing Monkey D. Dragon around here, but the only problem is that his character is already a complete mystery. And now it's been revealed that Dragon Dragon has spent some time with the Marines, but we don't have any information on how long he was a part of their organization or during what part of his life, and it's impossible for us to know how far up the ranks that Dragon made it. Was he simply a captain, vice admiral, or maybe even an admiral candidate? It's very likely Dragon's going to be a very powerful character with the reputation of his family, so I like to assume that he was a young prodigy of the Marines just like Garb. And who knows, maybe Dragon was even a part of Garb's crew at some point. But for now, without having any real information on Dragon's time as a Marine, it makes him impossible to rank. At number 10, we have actually two characters, Tokikake and Gion. Tokikake and Gion are two of the strongest vice admirals in One Piece and are even close to admiral level. Now I definitely have some explaining to do here because some of you may not even know who these two characters are. But first, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell like Luffy and Skypiea to never miss an upload. We have a Void Century, Ancient Kingdom Mega Theory on the way, and plenty of other One Piece videos planned. So when Kuzan left the Marines and Sakazuki moved up to Fleet Admiral, Tokikake and Gion were two of the most discussed candidates to move up to the Admiral position as their replacements during the time skip. Most of what we know about them comes from an SBS, but we have seen them pop up a few times in the anime and in movies in very limited scenes, speaking with powerful Marines like Garp and Fujitora. If I had to pick between these two off the little information we have so far, I'd go Gion over Tokikake just because it seems like the man can't catch a single dub, getting constantly rejected time and time again. Oda once said in an SBS that Gion has rejected that man 100 times. Listen Toki, I respect your determination, but sometimes you have to know when to move on to the next. There's not much to go off here, but even getting a recommendation for the Admiral position speaks for itself. At number 9, we have Suru. Suru this high may seem like a joke, since her devil fruit power makes her a walking washing machine, a literal cleaning lady. In her prime, Suru was one of the most respected, feared, and powerful Marines of her time. She's 1/3 of the OG trio next to legends like Garp and Sengoku, and while I don't think she's quite on their level, even being around a Giga Chad like Garp for all those years had to wear off on her, and Garp and Sengoku do seem to have a lot of respect for her. It's interesting to think that Doflamingo also in some ways respected her as well, and was maybe even Suru's rival for some time, as Dofi even states that he was never able to get the best of her throughout all those years, showing respect to her elderly authority as if he understands how powerful she is. And this is kind of interesting because we never see Doflamingo behave this way. Even amongst admirals like Fujitora, he is never really put in check. It's almost as if he's been put in his place so many times in the past by Suru that he doesn't even want to test her. Although we never seen her fight, and not even in Marineford, it's safe to say that Suru is a master in hockey, and I respect her as the strongest woman Marine in the organization's history. Ryokugyu, also known as Green Bull, also known as Torque Bull, is one of the most polarizing characters. My view of Green Bull is a man who talks a big game, almost to a childish and delusional degree. He claimed he could bring in Luffy to make Akainu proud, but I highly doubt Green Bull is capable of walking in alone on an enemy territory as strong as the Straw Hat crew, as well as the entire Wano alliance. But while Green Bull dreams big and I admire his confidence, he's still extremely powerful. His Logia Forest Fruit makes him one of the most annoying and frustrating characters to deal with, as he is the embodiment of all plant life. Let's say Sanji goes in for a speedy kick, well Green Bull can simply teleport and become a different plant on the other side of the battlefield. One way to combat this is with a gigantic hockey foot attack like Bajrang Gun from Luffy, which is something that I don't think Green Bull is capable of dealing with since he hasn't shown any glimpses of Conqueror's hockey. And while trees, bushes, and flowers aren't very ideal, there's still a great versatility to his fruit, like using vines. Maybe one of his most broken abilities is potentially his endless stamina. Similar to a Pokemon with Giga Drain, Leech Seed, and Synthesis, Green Bull can constantly regenerate his health by sucking his opponents dry, or by absorbing the nutrients from the plants. I see Green Bull as the weakest admiral, but this isn't to say that he's weak by any means. And how the world government came across a random guy in a village just chilling in the One Piece world who was this powerful is frightening, but honestly one of the most exciting revelations, and that also goes for Fujitora as well. At number 7, we have Admiral Fujitora. I mentioned Green Bull and his Devil Fruit being so annoying to face, but Fujitora has the potential, if used correctly, to be by far more mentally taxing. Any fight against Fujitora seems like it's set up to be a very technical fight, as he can bend and warp gravity. Just thinking about the brain power it must take to face Fujitora in combat while he's shifting gravity around like a Rubik's Cube gives me a headache. One minute he's pulling you straight down, next thing you know you're falling sideways being blasted with a giant meteor. Little things like levitating objects, opponents, and potentially even himself, and then add in some of the most impressive observation hockey, and you have a recipe for a very interesting and unique fighter. Just like Green Bull, Fujitora is on that Admiral tier, but I don't think he's shown enough to prove they're on par with the previous generations like Kuzan and Sakazuki. At number 6, we have Admiral Borsalino Kizaru. Kizaru is a character who is speculated to be one of the fastest characters in the entire series. He can teleport, he can disperse his body as a Logia moving at speeds of light because he is the light man. And with a high velocity and blitzing speeds, this means that his light kicks are very powerful. Kizaru has a very broad arsenal, being able to create Logia light swords and light grenades. And he can shoot light laser beams and he can bounce across reflecting areas of light, and it also seems like Kizaru almost never goes all out, which is impressive because he's faced characters like Marco the Phoenix, Rayleigh, and it seems he even wanted to smoke with Ben Beckman. He's even put up a decent fight against a Gear 5 Luffy without even awakening his Devil Fruit. So some really impressive stuff from the Light Admiral. Now before we move into the top 5 strongest Marines of all time, make sure you like the video and share it to as many people as possible. Thank you for the constant support. Kong was the Fleet Admiral before Sengoku, and this man seems to have a great relationship with Garp, which is a good sign for him because if we look at many of Garp's other close friendships like Sengoku and Kuzan, oh wait, yeah, that friendship is kind of over, isn't it? Anyways, my point is that Garp surrounds himself with very powerful characters, and if we're going off pure design, Kong looks strong, there's no doubt about it, so that's a good sign. But then again, we've seen characters look absolutely jacked in One Piece and then end up being weak. But I think the title of Fleet Admiral is enough to put some respect on Kong's name, as Sengoku and Akainu show us the start to a great trend. We do need more feats for Kong, but I like to think that he was some kind of crazy mythical gorilla devil fruit user, or maybe he's just a cousin to the Monkey D family. And if either of these are true, it gives him incredible boost to power because one is a mythical zone and that Monkey D text is far from phony. You may have noticed a thumbnail where I designed this golden ape King Kong form with my artist for Fleet Admiral Kong, just to give you an idea of how powerful and cool this could be. If you've ever watched Dragon Ball, you'll know just how intense a beast like this could be in One Piece. At number 4 we have Sengoku. Prime Sengoku was one of the only Marines that Goldie Roger respected alongside Garp. Known as the Golden Buddha, Sengoku is a powerful user of a mythical zone Buddha fruit. This fruit increases all forms of physical power and turns his body into actual gold. Sengoku can also become a giant-sized Buddha man, and many of his other powers are still unexplored. On top of this, Sengoku is also a Conqueror's Haki user, and I would be disappointed if he hasn't mastered Haki with advanced applications. Sengoku is the closest thing to Garp's rival in the Marines, as they've been in the game for years and have risen the ranks together during the Rocks Pirates era, the Goldie Roger era, and even now during the Golden Age of Piracy, where Sengoku sits at the top of Fleet Admiral. I used to think that Sengoku was a little bit lower than Garp, but on the same tier. But over the years, this has changed. Sengoku is still incredibly powerful though, don't get me wrong, but we'll save the Garp Sengoku comparison, but soon enough you'll understand why I believe that Garp was the clear-cut strongest out of this era. At number 3 we have Kuzan, and before he became a Blackbeard pirate, Kuzan was an admiral next in line to becoming Fleet Admiral. He was recommended for the position by Sengoku and I'm assuming also by Garp. He was extremely respected, and this comes from being an absolute monster within the organization. As Garp's former prodigy, there's no doubt in my mind that at least from a raw physical standpoint, he's stronger than even Akainu. Even if he did lose a 10-day fight going toe-to-toe against someone who I think has a strong devil fruit advantage, as lava can melt ice. And I personally believe that both Kuzan and Sakazuki have Conqueror's Haki, even if it hasn't been confirmed yet, so that's why I believe that the physical advantage is what kept him in the fight. I mean, if we look at the previous generation's strongest, Sengoku and Garp, they both had Conqueror's Haki, they were both physical beasts. Sakazuki's devil fruit is very deadly, but Kuzan's is no joke, especially when you consider this a story where pirates are always battling on islands near massive bodies of water. We've seen Kuzan be able to freeze tsunamis, entire oceans, he can create ice weapons, and being a Logia, this means Haki is almost a necessity to even stand a chance against it. And we haven't even seen his devil fruit awakening yet, which may be so powerful that it can change the entire climate of an island, as we saw with Punk Hazard. I see a lot of people give a lot of respect when it comes to power scaling Admiral Akainu, but I don't see the same love for Kuzan, which is strange because they're very close. And speaking of Akainu, at number 2 we have Sakazuki, or Admiral Akainu. Fleet Admiral Sakazuki, he's a very tricky character to rank, as we haven't seen him do much of anything in the post-time skip era. There's a looming fear that once Sakazuki is activated, nothing but pain, destruction, and more chaos will enter the One Piece story. Akainu is an extremist, and that extreme nature has taken him to extreme heights in terms of ruthless power. Some may say he's being set up to be the strongest Marine ever, as the final Fleet Admiral of Luffy's era. Oda once said that Akainu could sweep through the One Piece world and become Pirate King in only 2 years. It's clear Oda loves to gas this man, and this guy has become one of the strongest and most destructive devil fruit users in the entire series. I personally believe that Sakazuki Mizuki and Kuzan are the only two Marines in their era who possess Conqueror's Haki like how Garp and Sengoku did, cause someone with that much ambition who's completely insane like a Kainu just has to have it. His notable moments include his legendary battle with Kuzan which he won, and I bet he became much stronger from this, and then we can't forget about when he took on Whitebeard and killed Ace. But what really makes me think Akainu is the strongest Marine of the modern era is that he's been built up as one of the final villains of the story. He's someone that everyone wants to fight, everyone has some kind of personal beef with Akainu, and I believe he's being saved for the entire post time skip until the final giant war arc for a reason. Because when Oda finally does choose to have Akainu make his moves, you just know the classic fun and happy One Piece vibes will take a drastic shift. And at number 1, the strongest Marine to ever live is none other than Monkey D. Garp. This man is the greatest to ever do it. First off, I'll leave a link to a video where I go into a much more in-depth breakdown of how strong Prime Garp really was, comparing him to other Marines and even legendary pirates like Goldie Roger and Whitebeard. And I even break down everything from his haki, his physical strength, and everything in between. You see, without even a devil fruit, Garp has a raw physical presence unlike any other Marine we ever seen, and a willpower unleashing powerful haki. Garp has risen to become a character with the greatest reputation. He was physically the strongest and fastest that we've ever seen. It's shocking because a character like Kizaru is extremely fast, but Garp with no devil fruit ability is also very fast, as we saw him moving even incredibly fast in his old age against the Blackbeard pirates. What's so fascinating to me about Garp is that no one really brings up how he doesn't have any real weaknesses. His attacks are incredibly powerful, he's fast, he can use ultimate haki, he has a tough mentality, and has those insane Monkey D genes that allows him to surpass his limits and pull out miracles. Garp can even fight both at close range, packing a punch, and has no problem against someone who flies or keeps a distance like we saw with Galaxy Impact. Garp can launch long-range powerful blasts with ease. This guy is the definition of superhuman. In fact, he's like a superhero in One Piece. In his prime, Garp was known as the hero of the Marines, Garp D. Fist, someone who's faced head-on some of the most deadly and powerful pirates during their primes like Rocksteady Zebek and even Goldie Roger. But in his old age, Garp is ready to attack a Yonko territory, which means that he still has that dog in him. It's just something that's built into his character. If his grandson Luffy is like a monkey boy, Garp is like a gorilla in the zoo, going crazy against any pirates or even Marines. Garp isn't afraid of anyone, and we can see why. I think Garp's otherworldly haki also puts him at the very top of this list. While I love Akainu and Sengoku's devil fruits, I think Garp slightly edges out these Marine powerhouses off name value and hype alone. Think about it this way, Galaxy Impact was so impressive, and now imagine if Prime Garp launched that. Okay, now imagine the fact that that was only an opening attack, and Garp definitely had a go-to finisher in his prime where he'd infuse as much advanced haki into one giant punch, similar to Luffy's Bajrang gun. I like to think that Garp is the strongest haki user to ever exist, maybe only rivaled by Shanks and Roger, and probably only going to be surpassed by Luffy one day, because we know that Garp was punching supreme grade blades with Conqueror haki users behind it like Roger and Whitebeard with only his fist. And so I think a battle between Akainu, Kuzan, or Sengoku against Garp would be truly a high-diff fight no matter what. But if I had to bet on one Marine to stand atop the rest, it's Prime Monkey D. Garp. If you enjoyed the video or anything I said here, make sure to leave a like because it really helps us out. And if you want to see the top 30 strongest pirates ever in One Piece, click on this video right here.